So, US against Belgium tomorrow at Seattle. Our coverage starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Let's get you back, though, to Mexico City. Jude Bellingham is talking to our reporter, Jess Reeves.
Jude, that big smile says it all. Just what sort of result is that to come here against this opposition in this stadium at this altitude?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest England wins in a while. Probably the biggest one I can remember as a fan or player. The best night of my England career, our England career probably. Yeah, just unbelievable. I can't put it into words right now. It's tough to kind of gather everything together. The goals, the penalty against, the penalty for, the red card. It was a chaotic game, but credit to Mexico, they were a different class. We never underestimated them for 1 minute, and they were exactly as good as we thought they were going to be. But this team showed character tonight, and I'm proud.
Is that what it took to get it over the line, that character? Because you did it with the game, literally half the game with 10 men.
I was just saying that it felt like a full squad performance. It felt like we had 26 players. Every time we cleared the ball, when Big Dan Burn, smashed his head off one and cleared it up the pitch, you could see all the subs on the sideline up, all the staff. The fans got behind us in the stadium. I'm sure they're in bits at home, supporting us and watching us. So yeah, that was a real country performance.
And look at this, the England team on their way out. Former England striker Peter Crouch, we had him on our pre-game show, waiting for Jude Bellingham and waiting for Harry Kane as well. How about that for a hug?
They know who he is.
That's Anthony Gordon. They definitely know who he is. Look at that. Everyone knows who Peter Crouch is. Catching our breath still. Rebecca Lowe, Thierry Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That was another World Cup classic, and we seem to be saying that by the day at the moment during this 2026 FIFA World Cup. The story of the game. This was the round of 16 match that so many eyes were on. Zlatan, talk us through the first half.
Look at this opportunity from Jimenez. Good header, but an amazing save from Pickford. That's not easy when the ball bounced from the glass. Then what do we have here? Thierry, we have the first goal of England. What a header. Harry Kane, first post, brings the defender. The number 10 shows up on the second post. Guys out there, number 9, first post, 10, second post. Look how free he is, and just put the header like that. Easy and clean. And this is football intelligence. Bellingham puts the ball out. Harry Kane passes back, and who shows up? Bellingham. This is genius from Harry Kane. The team scores. That's how we want it. Yeah, Thierry?
But then
a free set piece here. Good goal from Quinones. Good shot. A little bit poor clearance by the English defender there. But a goal is a goal. We don't say no to goals.
more chances, though, for Mexico before the break. Really stepped it up, Zlatan.
If I have audio in my ear, I would tell you. But okay, a good header and a good save from Pickford.
And again.
And again, a lot of action in the first half. Good header here, and the second post, who shows up? Bellingham. If it's not Kane, it's Bellingham. Look at that clearance. What a lion, this guy.
So that was 2-1 at half-time into the second half, then the red card, Thierry.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, as soon as you lift your leg like that, you are going to be in trouble. And yes, when you look at the replay, there is contact. It was a red card. But like I said, for some reason, England raised their game. And look at the big man again. Going into the body of the defender first, and then he wins the header. And then Gordon, we all know how fast he is. He gets to the ball before the goalkeeper. And this time Harry Kane is not going to miss like he did against France. Ball goes in the back of the net, 3-1. And we all thought that maybe, okay, cool. Maybe that's going to be, you're going to have to defend, but look, let's see how it's going to go. Next thing you know, you go on the other sides. A bit of panic from everywhere, and then it reminds me of the penalty of Modric, really, where he doesn't see the player coming. Once you're in the process of kicking the ball, it's very difficult. As you saw, he kicked the leg of the player, and the player kicked the ball after that. And then Jimenez doesn't miss a lot. He has a great record in the Premier League, and it carries on here at the World Cup to bring it to 3-2. That's when I thought, really, that England was going to suffer a bit more, but they didn't really suffer much in terms of how many chances Apart from this, where John Stone, yes, has to do what he has to do. Stones has to clear that ball. But other than that, it wasn't much into it. It was a very strong performance from England. You can see here, they all go on the ground. Some still could run. Declan Rice, I don't know how you still have energy to run and jump. But yeah, it was a great performance from England. And usually what it does, this type of performance, is it brings the team together. Look at him. Look at the celebration. The way he played today was just, Bellingham was just outstanding. Not only him, in all fairness, everybody. Declan Rice on the yellow also, being able to contain himself and not getting a second yellow.
There's going to be a lot of people asleep at their desks tomorrow across England. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, gone 4 a.m. These are the scenes in Manchester just after 4 at the end of the game. Let's hear now from Harry Kane.
Well, Harry, huge congratulations. What a contest, what a win. But I just firstly wanted to ask you what's happened over there by the England goal, because there looks to be some concern.
Yeah, Jordan, my voice is gone. Hendo just fell over there. I think he's okay, just something to do with his arm.
OK, well, as for the performance, I think it says it all, the fact that your voice has gone. That was some contest to watch. What on earth was it like to play in?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. We had to fight. We had to find something. Yeah, I've just been sitting there. I can't really talk, but yeah, all the occasion, the team, everything against us, we found a way.
I was going to say, is that what pleases you the most, the resilience today? Because even your penalty, a word on that as well, not the one you scored, the one you conceded. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I thought I got to the ball first. It was one of those days that the ref gave a lot against us. And in the end, it didn't matter. So, yeah, I'm happy.
I'm going to try one more question if your voice holds out. What can this do for England going forward? You've got a quarter-final in Miami against Norway to look forward to. What can the England fans look forward to now?
Well, just look at them here. Incredible. Unbelievable support. Speechless. I can't even talk, so.
Go and rest that voice, rest up. Thanks, Harry.
B2 and then having to dig in. This game was always going to be such a difficult game for England to get through, and but the importance of this game, this will give the players, the coaches, the manager, and now the fans as well. This will give them the belief that we can go all the way and win this tournament. And and we've heard other countries, the media in other countries saying that England haven't been great. But what this has shown, that we've got a team there who are capable of winning this World Cup, who are capable of getting through difficult situations, and the belief this will give to them players is going to be huge.
Well, Tuchel said, didn't he, as you go deeper into the tournament, you'll see the real England, and that's, I think, what we saw tonight. In terms of Mexico, the way they set up tactically, there was always going to be space for England to run in, and they had to capitalise on that, and they really did. We don't want to go overboard, but they really should be proud of that performance tonight. They really should.
But the big players tonight, I know, listen, the whole team were excellent, I thought, in different ways in terms of having to dig in, defend, but when you need these big players, Jordan, you'd think of the spine of the team. Jordan, Pickford, I thought the two centre-backs were really good tonight. Declan Rice in the middle of the pitch, I thought was excellent. And then Bellingham and Kane. They really turned up tonight, and we need that in the rest of the games.
Let's get back into the Azteca then. It is a scene of some iconic moments over the decades since it first opened. Alan Shearer, was this one such moment for England?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every single player, the players he brought onto the pitch were absolutely outstanding, fighting for their country in what is such a tough atmosphere and an iconic ground. And down to 10 men, wow, I just thought every single one of them was superb.
What was it that particularly impressed you? Was it about the different ways or the different problems that they had to solve throughout that game and the way they dealt with it?
Everything. I thought everything was just superb. I just thought from the off, the way they tried to manage the game, their energy, the way they took the game to Mexico, as I said, in really difficult circumstances, and then to get the goals, and then to be hurt so soon afterwards, going into half-time with that goal to make it 2-1. And then I thought the start to the second half was really positive, but then they get the the red card and the penalty, and it's like, oh, what's going against us again? But I just thought the way they stuck together and their attitude and the manager's substitutions to go 3 at the back or 5 at the back and defend as the way they did. And Pickford, who had a brilliant game, I was critical of him in the DR Congo game, but I thought his 2 or 3 saves today, and also when he was coming out and taking the pressure off his defenders as much as he could, I just thought every single one of them were superb.
Wayne was saying that this is the kind of result and performance that can give England fans belief, England players belief, the whole England setup belief. Do you think that's how they celebrated, and do you have belief?
Yeah, I do. We've been waiting for them, because I said I think they've probably only had, before today's game, that one good half against Croatia in the second half, and they've had their moments and pieces of brilliance from Harry and from Jude Bellingham. But I think the performance tonight was pretty much perfect. I thought that the questions that they were asked, and there's been so much talk about the altitude and everything else that the players had to deal with, and they've dealt with that, and they've dealt with other knockbacks as well. But this was a standout performance. This is a performance that can carry them forward and can give them belief in the hope that they can achieve something in this competition.
And Norway next, Alan.
Yes, and Norway next. Yeah, absolutely. We caught bits of that game when we're on the way to the stadium today, and that big man up front again, didn't he? He's causing havoc, he's scoring goals, and it looks as if it'll be a shootout between Kane and Haaland.
Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the evening at the Azteca. We're into the early hours of the morning here. Everybody who's stayed up to watch this game, who wanted England to win it, will be delighted with what they've seen, delighted with the result that England have. It is Norway up next for England. We will start to look ahead a little bit more. But England made their life very difficult at the start of that second half when they went down to 10 men. And so often there is a scapegoat when England exit tournaments. And this time around, it felt like it might be Jarell Quansah.
Yeah, and the staff being in the situation he's been in, and it's not easy. It's not an easy situation for him. It is a red card, it's reckless, and it's high, so it's a red card. But I feel for him, because knowing what he's going through in that dressing room as the game's going on, it's such a horrible feeling. And you think, luckily for me, we went out, but he hopefully has got another chance in this World Cup. But yeah, it's not a nice feeling, and thankfully his teammates have helped him get through that sticky situation for him.
We're going to hear now from Harry Kane. He's with Kelly Summers.
Well, Harry, huge congratulations. What a contest, what a win. But I just firstly wanted to ask you what's happened over there by the England goal, because there looks to be some concern.
Yeah, Jordan, my voice is gone. Henlo just fell over there. I think he's okay. Just something to do with his arm.
OK, well, as for the performance, I think it says it all, the fact that your voice has gone. That was some contest to watch. What on earth was it like to play in?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. We had to fight. We had to find something. Yeah, I've just been singing there. I can't really talk, but yeah, all the occasion, the team, everything against us, we found a way.
I was going to say, is that what pleases you the most, the resilience today? Because even your penalty, a word on that as well, not the one you scored, the one you conceded. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I thought I got to the ball first. It was one of those days that the ref gave a lot against us, and in the end it didn't matter. So yeah, I'm happy.
I'm going to try one more question if your voice holds out. What can this do for England going forward? You've got a quarter-final in Miami against Norway to look forward to. What can the England fans look forward to now?
Well, just look at them here. Incredible. Unbelievable support. Speechless. I can't even talk, so...
Go and rest that voice, rest up. Thanks, Harry.
He literally can't talk. The thing is, this has been described by the three of you, by Guy Mowbray on commentary, as one of the great England performances, one of the great England results. And the captain's interview afterwards is going to go down.
But that sums it up. That sums up the absolute madness that's ensued over the last couple of hours. Yeah. And what a man. He's left it all on the line. That's a sign of someone who's a leader who's lived and breathed every single minute. I'm going to have to hold it together here because otherwise he's got... Altitude did affect him in the end.
Yeah, well...
No, we hope Endo's OK.
Yeah. Well, look, that's the other point.
That's the best interview I've seen.
Listen, you're right. It was thoroughly entertaining from Harry Kane. What he did start off by talking about, though, was Jordan Henderson. He says he's absolutely fine, but he did fall over the advertising hoardings. That's what we think has happened, and it looked like he was getting some oxygen as he was being stretchered off the pitch. So we'll get an update on that. Harry Kane was saying he isn't too concerned at the moment about that injury, but obviously Harry Kane in the middle of absolute delight after that victory for England. We talked about how difficult it would have been for them, having gone down to 10 men in that game when Jarell Quansah was sent off and correctly sent off.
He got sent off for serious foul play, didn't he? I think he was unlucky because he actually got the ball, but it was the follow-through as well, so it was a little bit unlucky. Wayne's exactly right. It could have been something that cost him, but in the end, it didn't.
I just think now the FIFA have set a precedent in terms of the Bellingham situation, and he gets a suspended, 1 year suspended sentence, if you like, on his red card. So now, what's the reason that the Quansah shouldn't get that?
Well, the argument would be that Balogun's was a debatable red card, and it wasn't rescinded. You're right,
and
that
that
would be the argument
against. They haven't taken the red cards away, so they're saying he's guilty of an offence, but it's now that's the question everyone's going to be asking if a player gets sent off.
It is, and it would be a fair question to ask. In terms of the penalty that England were awarded, any question at all about this decision? Was it about as clear-cut a penalty as you could imagine?
Long punt upfield. Don't even think Kane gets the knockdown, to be honest. Gordon's just so sharp. It's that little backward step from the goalkeeper, and he knows as soon as you go down rolling around pretending you're injured, you know you're in trouble. It's a tiny little back step, but it's Gordon who was excellent all night defensively and offensively. Look at that desire. He knows all he's got to do is get the ball. Massive moment, especially if they just had that sucker punch of getting the red card. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. Massive moment. You do not say them. He's gone ridiculously early, flown at it. Brilliant penalty. What a leader. What a hero.
What a guy. 6 goals now?
Yeah.
6 goals, one off the lead in the race for the Golden Boots. 3 players atop of that leaderboard. But Harry Kane will be chasing down Erling Haaland, Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe. As we said beforehand, it's going to be some race.
I think it's Mbappe and Kane. I believe that's the final, France v England. And yeah, hopefully Harry can take the Golden Boot and lead us to glory. So yeah, it will be fascinating.
So down to 10 men in the game, but England get the penalty and they go 3-1 up, and you think, all right, well they've maybe done enough. As we thought in the first half, England maybe have done enough in order to get through this game, and yet Mexico back in it, and it was a penalty that they took another look at, and we looked at the best side of Harry Kane. He was the player who conceded the penalty. Bit of discussion, and Alan Shearer not at all convinced that this is a penalty. What are your thoughts?
It's soft, isn't it? But he does kick his foot, so a penalty is probably the right decision. But not all contact is a penalty.
So I think Alan's point was he didn't feel that it was a clear and obvious error. And I know clear and obvious isn't in the wording anymore, but he said it wasn't a clear and obvious error enough to overturn it. That was his
Well, I think on reflection, Harry's only argument was that he felt that he got the ball. Obviously, in the moment, he would have felt like he got the ball, but I think it's very clear that he didn't there. So once he sees it again, I'm sure he'll be completely fine with that as a penalty. Yeah. And it'll be a whole lot more fine with it now. It hasn't actually cost us.
We seen one last season at Everton against Arsenal, which was not given, and VAR looked in and he didn't give it, but then he said later on it should have been a penalty. They got that wrong, so I think it was a penalty.
Especially benefiting from the Modric one in the Croatia game. I think it was very similar.
OK, and then so it's 3-2 at this stage, and then Thomas Tuchel makes substitutions that, at the time, when you were thinking was maybe a bit early to start protecting that lead.
I did. I thought a little bit early to drop in and concede we're not going to have the ball at all. And I think Mexico, as good as we defended, Mexico played into our hands here in terms of just putting balls in the box. And
I mean, that tells you what England were doing from 70 minutes onwards.
That's called the avocado defence.
No, but we defended the box brilliantly, but I think Mexico played into our hands in putting balls in the box and allowing us to head it out or Pickford to come and punch and take the pressure off his teammates. But I think if Mexico played a little bit more around the box and made it more difficult that way and made us try and get to the ball, it would have maybe been more difficult. And they lost patience, but we defended excellent.
Is that with the crowd going getting on them? They just they looked like they lost all sense of what was going on. And like you say, played completely into England's. If England could have set up a game plan against them once they made those changes, that's exactly what they would have wanted.
Yeah.
But the subs made a difference, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought Byrne was outstanding. John Stones, the composure he showed as well. Even Spence in them one-on-one situations. I probably agree with you in terms that it felt like it was a little bit early, but in the end, it worked.
Yep.
And you can tell that chemistry with the team. No matter who plays, they're going to do a job for the team.
Mick, sorry, just a quick note on Jed Spence. Obviously, he took a lot of heat from the last game. Was he injured? Was he not injured? That was an incredible effort what he put in for his team. Though.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because today's game was a little bit different to what we've seen, certainly in the grouping against DR Congo, and what Tuchel wanted him to do in terms of get up and down, and you see him on the sideline shouting him to go. It wasn't that sort of game today. It was, come on, keep your composure and deal with the wide areas, and he did that fantastically
Big character,
well today.
though. I'm really pleased for him.
But even at the end here, the last 20 minutes, when what we've said with the three of us have pointed this out in the England games is when we open up defensively and we're running out of position and we're not covering the space, we look easy to play against. But even this shows with 10 men, when you're compact, even if you're deep, it's so difficult for the opposition to break you down. So I think moving forward with 11 players, we need to just get that balance right. But I'm going a bit negative here, but the performance, we have to keep that and take it into the next few games because we will need that.
You said before the game, communication. We did the analysis before. They communicated a lot better today, and they needed to. It felt like a big occasion, and they rose to it.
I just think it's interesting just to go back to the substitutions, because what Tuchel was praised for right at the start of the tournament against Croatia was making very positive, very attacking substitutions, whereas in this one he did the opposite. He made very defensive substitutions and put pretty much every player behind the ball and said, right, we're 3-2 up, we're down to 10 men, we cannot lose this. It was a different approach from what we've seen from him.
That was an old school English mentality.
Yeah.
You know, when you all look at each other and say, keep the spaces, stop the crosses, and when it comes in the box, bodies on the line. And fair play to him, because I think that was the right thing to do. It turned out in the end.
It was just that in-game management, wasn't it? It's knowing when to, against Croatia, freshen it up, bring new wingers on, and then today it was about, OK, let's defend our box. And that is ultimately the difference. Southgate, we've mentioned, so did such a good job, but it's just these little details, and that could be the difference going forward.
10 goals for Jude Bellingham, now 7 of which have come at major tournaments, including 2 against Mexico.
Well, Jude, huge congratulations. What an effort from every single player on the team. What are your thoughts on what you and your teammates have just done out there?
Hard to gather it all together, really. With 10 men, defending like how we defended our box, clinical like we were in their box, big pressure moments that, maybe in years gone by, especially me watching as a fan, as a little kid, probably England would have crumbled, and this team, they stuck together until the last second. The players who came on, the players who started running themselves into the ground, putting the body between everything. That's what this team's about.
What was it like being in that atmosphere, and also then when you were seeing some of those refereeing decisions, the adversity that England were having to come up against?
Yeah, the atmosphere was by far the best I played against in international football. I think this country, as a footballing country, is just magnificent. The reception we had coming off the plane, although it was hostile, it was just a beautiful thing to see in terms of how passionate one country can be about their team. And in terms of the refereeing decisions, it is what it is. In the World Cup, they're human as well. As easy as it is to say now, they're human. We made a lot more than they did, no worries, we got through.
Your 2 goals were inside 98 seconds, which were undoubtedly important, but was that clearance at the end of the first half as well arguably just as important?
Yeah, it could have been. Obviously at 2-1 the game was still there, especially when they scored. It felt like the stadium almost collapsed, so it was probably an important clearance, just as important as the goals. But you know, this win is far bigger than me. It's the players who came on, like I said. It's the supporters who've come to Mexico and probably had a difficult journey, paid hard-earned money. This is a team, a whole country's performance.
What can this confidence and belief do for England going into what looks like an exciting quarter-final against Norway?
Well, it's still one game at a time. You know, at the end of the day, it's still just around a 16 win. The quarter-final now coming up against Norway, they pose a completely different threat. Some that we know really well, obviously some world-class players in there. So we'll have to be ready. But my God, if you can't enjoy a night like this just for one night, then I don't know what it's worth.
Just one quick word on your friend Jordan Henderson. We saw him in what looked like quite a lot of distress at the end. How is he?
He's in a bit of bother, but our medical team have got everything under control. Probably not best to give too much detail when I don't really know too much going on. But yeah, everyone was there to support him, and even that was a beautiful thing to see.
Thanks, Jude. Pleased you've got a voice, because Harry doesn't.
Yeah, I know, I've heard.
Yeah, we wish Jordan Henderson well in terms of his recovery. And as Jude Bellingham said, he's got the medical team with him and they've got everything in hand. Jude Bellingham certainly had everything in hand as far as the game is concerned. I think what was interesting to see in terms of his performance was... we can look at the defensive side maybe when we look at Mexico's goal, but I mean, he gets these two really important goals, Wayne.
This is so good, the movement and the ability to see it, the penalty box, and then just being that explosive and that movement to get into the penalty box and get in the end of it was brilliant. And again here, obviously, we win the ball back high up the pitch. And then, as Joe said at half-time, you're expecting Harry Kane to shoot, and then just that desire to get in the box and on the end of things. And he's been fantastic this World Cup. He's been a leader. He's, you know, everything you want of a player from that position, helping out defensively. But you know, there was debate whether he should start and should play in this World Cup. I think he's answered all them questions.
He's just an absolute superstar, isn't he? I mean, he always turns up, always gives 100%. Yeah, he's got that confidence that some might say is arrogance, but to be that type of player, you need that. That is the difference. And when he puts on that England shirt, he just seems to go up a level even more. I just love watching him. He's amazing.
And while he went, just when you talk about the confidence, while he went out of his way to praise the England fans, to talk about the feeling of togetherness, to talk about the unity within the squad, he did also say that when he was a kid, that this England, or an England team that he watched when he was a kid, would have crumbled. So just quick maths, 2018 when England reached the semi-finals, he'd have been 15. So I think he's talking about 2010 and 2014, and I didn't know if anybody wanted to say anything about that.
Well, we didn't crumble, we didn't turn off. He didn't do enough to crumble. So, yeah, no, listen, he's completely right. And you just hope. I think England's got a team, a togetherness, and I think the manager's been very bold with his squad selection. And I think they've got everything in place now to go all the way, I believe. So we hope that they don't crumble.
Mm. One of the players that you've all singled out as having had a particularly good game, the whole squad had a good game in this match against Mexico, but one of the players they've singled out, Anthony Gordon, we can hear from him now.
Wow, Anthony, what a night for England. Have you had a chance to really process what you've all just done out there?
I think it probably won't kick in until this evening, but just to celebrate like we just did and with the fans out there was once in a lifetime. We spoke about this game being a once in a lifetime opportunity, once in a lifetime atmosphere, but it was also going to test us, and it did in the worst way possible, and we come through. I can't say any more about us.
You talked there about coming through it in the worst way possible. We spoke so much in the build-up about the altitude, the atmosphere. What was the reality like?
It was difficult. I think the travel and stuff weren't great. The altitude of the first 20 minutes was difficult. Even in training yesterday, I felt it in my chest. So it was a bit worrying, but listen, we're good players. We play at the top level. That's what we're paid to do, to handle these kind of situations. We got the fans' expectations. They've travelled all this way. We were never going to let them down. We knew it'd be tough, but big players, big moments.
A lot of people are saying that was your best performance of the tournament so far. You won the penalty as well. How did you feel out there and the impact that you had on the game, just like you did in the round of 16?
Good. I knew when we got a man sent off, I knew I'd have to be trustworthy. I knew I'd have to run more than ever. And I was happy to do so. I'm a player that I kind of want to be good at everything. I want to be whatever kind of game I'm in. I can, you know, change my game. I can be good in any way, be effective in any way. Today, didn't touch the ball that much, I don't think, from what I remember, but I ran, I blocked crosses, I defended, I won the pen. I tried to do my best for the team, and hopefully I've done that.
Is this the England that we've all been desperate to see? Thomas Tuchel told us the further we went into the tournament, we'd see it. Are we starting to see it now?
I hope so. That's for you to say. We focus on the process. We focus on how we play, how we train. The outcome we can never control, like the red card and stuff. We can never control things that happen to us, but we can control how we react. We can control how we train. We can control how together we are, and that's doing us well so far.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Kelly.
And the other good thing about Anthony Gordon is, should he have needed to, he could have spoken to the Mexican players in Spanish. Because as we heard when he moved to Barcelona, he's pretty much fluent now. Look, in terms of his performance, you've all said how well he played. What was it that impressed you about him?
Just thought everything about his game. You know, he was a real threat with the ball. He making runs in behind. He was driving with the ball, causing the Mexican defenders problems. And then his work rate as well. You know, he's a player who does work both ways, and he's a player you need in this type of game, I feel.
I just thought tactically his jump was a lot better, you know, when he's winning the ball back. And when you've got that competition with Rashford, you need a game where you can just say, I've arrived. He's had that moment within the tournament now. And don't forget, going to Barcelona, big pressure, when teams win that low block, they're saying he's not got a trick, that was a perfect game for him today.
Winning that penalty as well, just after Kwanzaa got sent off, was a massive moment. And he was so sharp, so switched on. He didn't let that red card cloud his judgment. That was a huge moment in the game.
I think there's been pressure on him as well coming into the tournament. The fact that obviously Barcelona have not taken Rashford, you don't know what's going to happen with that situation, but they've signed Anthony Gordon instead of Rashford, and there was pressure because people are saying, well, I think we should have signed Rashford instead of Anthony Gordon. So I think that he had pressure coming into the tournament, and hopefully this game tonight can, you know, kickstart his World Cup, and he can be someone who can actually lead us to something special.
Is it a straightforward choice for England wingers? Is it about Saka and Gordon and Madueke and Rashford? Is it about picking one on each side over the other, or picking the pair together? Or is it about the fact that they are going to, in these circumstances, have to use all four of them?
If England are going to go all the way, they all have to feature. They all have to play massive roles over the next 3 games, potentially 3 games. So I think, obviously, a lot will be made on who starts, but they're all fully aware they're going to be coming on and having massive parts to play.
Another player who had a great game for England this evening, having been criticised at times for the performance against DR Congo, but tonight it was Jordan Pickford. Let's hear from him.
Well, Jordan, what a match. That's probably one that we're still going to talk about for years, and I'm sure you'll never forget.
No, it was unreal. A lot of emotions, a lot of positives, showing resilience, showing character, and it was just, it wasn't pretty at times. In the first half, it was pretty. Then 2 goals from Jude was special. Then they get back in the game, then we get a penalty with Kane scoring it, and then they get back in the game. It just had everything that puts you on the edge of the seat. That's what football's all about, and it's not pretty at times, but it shows our togetherness, and it was a special night.
As you said there, Jude and Harry will probably get some of the headlines, but you as well told me recently that you thrive when you get to the knockouts. Did we see that tonight?
Yeah, I think you see the version that I set myself and the standard I set myself tonight, and producing saves and big moments and decision making and moments coming for crosses. I thought it was the standard that I set myself, and that's where I aim to be all the time and keep improving on that. And when called upon, big moments and big times, that's where I am.
Joe Hart's in our studio, and I know he's been waxing lyrical about just how good you were. Those saves, particularly at the end of the first half, and he's also noticed how you started to come for the ball more, particularly when you went down to 10 men, the responsibility that you almost took on your shoulders.
Yeah, that's what I've got to do. I'm one of the most experienced lads in the group, and when called upon, you know, you've got to roll your sleeves up, and I think I've always done that. I've always had that fight in me, that passion and the pride that I'll always have on the shirt. And it was a great game for me, and that's a standard itself. And Harty, it was decent.
And that is the perfect ending, Jordan. Thanks so much. Well done. Well, Thomas, I almost don't know where to start. What a match, but you must be one incredibly proud manager tonight.
Yeah, because if a team has heart and if a team has belief, then it's this team. They did it on pure will, yeah, no words. I mean, that's iconic match, an iconic stadium, and we overcome so much adversity today. Full credit, very proud.
Is that almost what impresses you most, in that intense atmosphere, that hostility, that blow after blow, England kept coming back?
Yeah, I didn't feel it hostile. I found it more like cheering and emotional, but not really hostile. But of course, like, I mean, you were close to the bench now when the national anthem was unbelievable, and when they had chances and they scored their goal. We were aware of that, but we just refused to give in. he refused to give in on a level. This is absolutely admirable.
What did you make of some of the refereeing decisions?
It's just not good enough. Referees are just not good enough. Force officials are just not good enough. That's the bottom line. VAR today, I think did I see that right? That 3 people at the VAR from South America in a match like this. I think so. I saw this before the match. I might be, but if this is what I saw, if this is correct, it's just VAR overturns. Is this a clear and obvious error for the mistake? For the penalty, for sure not. VAR gets involved. He didn't even give the foul. He didn't even overturn a yellow into a red. They overturn a situation where he doesn't even give a foul. No, referee is not good enough. Force officials are not good enough.
Focusing on the positives, I'm sure you want to call out most of the players on the pitch. Harry and Jude will get the headlines, but word on the performance of Anthony Gordon as well.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant today, and everyone. I mean, the guys from the bench, just amazing again. But yeah, it's not worth it to mention individual names. Like everyone is exhausted, and everyone knows that they won a crazy match of football in a crazy atmosphere, and we were up against all odds, and even during the match, in the end it was 11 minutes, and then he gives another 2 corners to make it 12 minutes. So no, everything went against us, and we just refused to give in.
Is this more of the England that you've promised us that we'd see now?
No, because I think we can play much better, and there's a lot we can do better, but it's there's still a disconnect from us, from the best version of us that I see, to what we actually put on the pitch in terms of football performance, in terms of ball possession, finding spaces. There's still a disconnect, but there's no disconnect in committing and doing what is needed to overcome anything that is thrown to this team. I think it's a team that everyone can be really proud of.
And just quickly, how's Jordan Henderson?
Oh, not good. I mean, this is the next thing. We have right defender now with a red card, and Jordan just fell over and injured his wrist. It looks really bad.
Okay, we wish him all the best. Thanks for your time, Thomas.
Well, look, Thomas Tuchel did focus on the positives as far as his team was concerned and said there's a lot to like about that team, things to work on, as managers will always say. But interesting that he went in hard on the referees, particularly on the VAR, who are South American, Colombian, Chilean, Venezuelan, and was unhappy that they were refereeing a game which involved a Central American team in Mexico, particularly when I don't think any of you thought that any of the decisions were particularly wrong.
No, I think he's got that wrong. I don't know why he's gone so hard on that after such an impressive performance. Against all odds, I get it in terms of what's gone on and going against the red card and the penalties, but I don't think they were poor decisions. I think they were decent. They were good decisions in the end.
Strangely flat note to end what was overall
Heroic,
a really good night for England.
Yeah, but I think in terms of what he said, isn't he? We might not like what he said in terms of the decisions. I agree with Joe. I think the referees got the decisions right. You could argue maybe the penalty. I know Alan in comms was saying he didn't think it was a penalty, but maybe it was. I don't mind that. I don't mind. He's sort of creating us versus the world.
It was a long game. It was an exhausting game, and it might
be the best at doing that. What he's doing he's creating everything against us, and Jose Mourinho used to do it all the time, and that's exactly what he's doing, because I think that was calculated, because he doesn't need to do that.
Correct.
So that's very calculated, and I think he's trying to create it's everyone against us.
Wayne, Joe, Micah, you're done. Go home. Leave us alone. Go home.
Night player.
Dirty stop-outs, the lot of you.